So today is March 26th, 2025. Yesterday we were talking about Sampadzanya, clear comprehension, understanding clearly. And we also heard there are 4 kinds of Sampadzanya. Among these 4 kinds, the third one, Gochara Sampadzanya, clear comprehension of domain, is very important. Clear comprehension of domain means not abandoning the objects of meditation, not leaving the objects of meditation, whatever objects are occurring at that time, observing those objects. So that is the Gochara Sampadzanya, clear comprehension of domain. If we are able to live, if we are able to stay on that domain, the objects of observation, that means we are not roaming in the territory of other people, other beings, but we are roaming in our own territory, own house. So the evil Mara will not seize us. We will be free from Mara. And at the meantime, we will be knowing what's happening at that very moment. So that Gochara Sampadzanya also could be categorized into 4 kinds according to how the beings are very careful in the observation of objects. And the 4th one is every moment, every second, being mindful of the objects. That is the excellent Gochara Sampadzanya. Being mindful all the time, observing the objects all the time. That is the best Gochara Sampadzanya. The first and second one also not bad. But the third one means not being mindful at all is the worst. But being mindful all the time in whatever position one is, being mindful, that is the best Gochara Sampadzanya. If we are able to keep our mindfulness in all postures, then the Mara will not get a chance, the defilements will not get a chance to enter into our mind. So we come to see the natures of the object, we will be able to develop the insight knowledges. So in the text, there are many stories who try to keep mindfulness all the time and gain the highest knowledges. They become arhants. So there is few monks, they ordained because they want to be free from all sufferings. And they went to forest to practice there. And they promise each other that we will not talk, we will not let the defilements overwhelm us. So if the defilements occur while we are standing, so we will suppress them at that very moment. If we could not suppress them at the time of arising while we are standing, then we sit down and try to suppress them. While we are walking, if the defilements occur, then at that very moment we suppress them. So that means they promise themselves that we will be mindful all the time. But by chance, if the defilements enter into the mind, we will note them immediately. Suppressing means by observing, by noting those defilements so that we'll be able to suppress them. So they promise themselves and they practice accordingly. So when they go to village for alms, on the way also they are very mindful, focusing on their legs, noting, lifting, moving, placing. So sometimes the defilements arise and they try to note it, but that does not disappear. And then they stop. So when the monk in front stop, all the monks behind also they stop. So, and the monk will blame himself. Oh, you see, the defilements occur, you cannot suppress them, now you have to stop. And so the monks behind you, all of them now know that you are having defilements because you are stopping there. You stop to suppress those defilements. So blaming oneself, then he observe, contemplate those defilements, and after suppressing, then continue walking. So that way they suppress the defilements if it occurs, though they are trying to be mindful all the time. So here, observing the objects, whatever objects, whether it is defilements or whether other objects, we have to observe them immediately so that we can suppress if the defilements, the hindrances occurs in the mind. And sometimes what the monks do that the Mahapusadeva, the monk, he also tries to suppress the defilements at the moment it occurs. Before that, he's trying to keep his mindfulness all the time. So whenever he goes for alms round, he also very mindful in walking. And sometimes he walks and forget, then he returns back to the first place from where he forgot to note. So sometimes on the way, the people saw him going back and forth, back and forth. And the people, they think that why this monk is going back and forth all the time. He forget the way to the village or why? So they are talking themselves. But this monk don't care about those gossips. He just keep his mindfulness and he become arhat. But it took him 20 years to become arhat. He's practicing that way all the time. He's practicing keeping mindfulness all the time. In the 20th Vasa, he became Arhat. And there are also other few monks, the 50 monks, they are also practicing at the forest center, and they promised themselves that we come here to practice, so we should practice diligently, and we should keep our mindfulness all the time. We all should be very vigilant. We should not talk with each other. Therefore, we won't talk unless there is some emergency, some urgent matter. We won't talk. So, though they are 50 in number, they don't talk with each other. They just keep silent, practicing their meditation. And when they go for the alms round, they keep water in their mouth and they just go to the village mindfully. And when they receive alms from the devotees, at that time also they won't say anything to the devotees. They won't say, "May you be well and happy," because they are afraid. They lose mindfulness at that moment when they are giving blessings to the devotees. Therefore, they keep water in their mouth. So they won't say anything. And after receiving alms, and they came out from the village, they sat in one place and they have their lunch. And after that, they came back to the monastery, the forest monastery, and do their job of observing. So sometimes the devotees think that why those monks don't say anything to us? Why they are not speaking with us? They are not speaking with us only, or they themselves also they don't speak. So they want to check, and they go to the forest. And at the forest, they saw that every monks staying in their own place, in their own place, not two monks in one place. They are staying separately. And they found that the monastery is very clean and neat and tidy. First, they think that they don't speak each other means they are quarreling, so they are not speaking with each other, or what's the reason? But when they saw that the forest monastery is very neat and tidy, means they are not quarreling, they are practicing in their own, so they are afraid of losing mindfulness, therefore they are not speaking with us and they are not speaking within themselves. And those monks practicing that way, in that vasa, in that rainy season, within 3 months, they all become arhants. So if we really want to gain, if we really want to achieve our goal, then we should remain in our domain of the practice, observing the objects, whatever arising at that very moment. So when we do meditation, this Gosara Sampajanya, clear comprehension of domain, is very, very important. We should not leave our domain. We should not abandon the objects of meditation. Whatever object is there, whether it is the mental object or whether it is the physical objects. So whatever objects occurring at that moment, we have to observe them so that we come to see that object as it is. So if we are able to maintain our mindfulness all the time, then the fourth sampajanya, that is asammoha sampajanya, the clear comprehension of reality will occur. So that is the sampajanya. Therefore, you always heard this word sampajanya, clear comprehending. Clear comprehending means we have to observe the objects all the time. We have to stay in our practice. We should not leave the objects. Then later automatically we will see the objects very clearly as it is. So here we also have to know that we are always talking about anicca. Oh, everything is anicca, impermanent. Dukkha, everything is unsatisfactory. And anatta, everything is not self. So we are always talking about anicca, dukkha, and anatta. So just now we say the gochara, the domain, that is the objects of meditation. That gochara is anicca. So what are the objects of meditation? The physicality and mentality, nama and rupa, or is the five aggregates of clinging, pancha upadana khanda. So those mentality and physicality, or the aggregates, the five aggregates, they are the gochara. Means we are observing those objects in the practice. And what are the five aggregates? What are the physicality and mentality that are occurring in the sixth sense door all the time? We are seeing. At the moment of seeing, there presents those five aggregates. At the moment of hearing, at that time also there present the five aggregates. At the moment of smelling, tasting, touching, and at the moment of thinking, at the time also the five aggregates are present. So that are the gochara, our domain. So whatever appears in the sixth sense doors, that is physicality and mentality, or they are five aggregates. Yeah, the five aggregates are the aggregate of rupa, physicality, the aggregate of vedana, feeling, the aggregate of sanya, perception, the aggregate of sankhara, mental formations, and the aggregate of vijnana, that is consciousness. So if we summarize them, if we summarize these five aggregates, then there will be only two phenomena, that physicality and mentality. The aggregate of rupa is physicality, physical phenomena, and the other remaining four aggregates, the aggregate of feeling, perception, mental formation, and consciousness, they are mentality. So this physicality and mentality are our objects, the five aggregates. So anicca, what is anicca is aniccanti panchakhanda. Anicca means the five aggregates. Yeah. Why these five aggregates are called anicca? Because those five aggregates, after arising, They don't remain there. They pass away. They pass away. Therefore, these five aggregates are called anicca, impermanent. So impermanent means the five aggregates. And yada nitsang tan dukkang, those impermanent are dukkha, unsatisfactory. So when we say dukkha, what is dukkha? These five aggregates are dukkha, unsatisfactory. Yeah, because they are arising and passing away all the time. That means they are torturing us. Therefore, it is dukkha. And what is anatta? Yan dukkhang tadanatta. The unsatisfactory is also non-self. What is unsatisfactory is not self. So when we say anicca or dukkha or anatta, that means those five aggregates, which are our domain. So these five aggregates are impermanent, unsatisfactory, and not self. At the beginning of the practice, do we see that impermanent, unsatisfactory, and not self? At the very beginning of practice, we haven't seen them. We cannot see them at the very beginning of the practice because our mindfulness is very weak. Yeah? There is no concentration. So we cannot see these anicca, dukkha, and anatta at the very beginning of the practice. But we are trying. Yeah? We are trying and we should try. We should continue practice so that we come to see this anicca, dukkha, and anatta. Again here, this anicca, dukkha, and anatta is five aggregates. In other words, it is the physicality and mentality. So as soon as we practice, we cannot see this physicality and mentality. But when we keep on practice, then we are able to see them. So anicca, impermanent, means is appearing and disappearing. So appearing means in Pali upada. Upada. Upada means arising. It comes to exist. Before it is not there, but now it appears. It exists. So the arising is upada. And then it does not remain in its initial stage. It vanishes. It vanishes, it disappears. That is voya. So before it is not there, now it arises, and after arising, it passes away. Hutva abhavato. That is anicca or upada and vaya. Upada is occurrence, vaya is disappearance. So that is anicca. So every mental and physical phenomena, they appears and then disappears too. And when they appears not without the cause. They appears with the cause. Because of the cause. There is a cause. Yeah. For example, in the eye door, the visible forms appears in the eye door. Yeah, it strikes on the eye door, and then the seeing consciousness occurs. And we are having this eye door, ear door. Why we are having this eye door, ear door? Who create this eye? Who create this ear? Actually, nobody creates this eye or ear or nose. We are having this eye sensitivity, ear sensitivity because of our past karma. Because of our past karma, the karma that we have done in our previous lives. So this eye is eye base, ear base. These are the physicality caused by the karma-born physicality. Yeah, and in this life also, this karma-born physicality got a support of consciousness and Veda and Ahara. Ahara is nutriments. With the support of that, we are having this eye sensitivity. Our eyes are still good. We can see the things very clearly. Our ear are very good. We can hear very distinctly. Yeah. So those all physicality and mentality, they appears with a cause, not without a cause. There is a cause. Yeah. So they appears with a cause, and after appearing, they will not remain in the same state, but they vanish, they disappear. Therefore, they are called anicca. They are called anicca. So to know this anicca, what we have to do is we have to stay in the domain of meditation. We have to keep on noting the objects, the obvious objects occurring at that very moment. So that way, if we keep on noting at that very moment, but still at the very beginning of the practice, we won't be able to see that characteristic of anicca. The characteristic of anicca is called anicca lakkhana in Pali. Anicca lakkhana is the characteristics of anicca. So what is the characteristics of anicca? That's appearing and disappearing. The characteristics of appearing and disappearing. We all know that everything is anicca, everything is anicca. We always heard that. Oh, everything is anicca, impermanent. But do we really know it through our personal knowledge? If we do not practice meditation, we will never know that anicca. We will never see that anicca, the characteristics of anicca, if we do not practice this satipatthana meditation, yeah, this insight meditation. And again, when we do meditation, but at the very beginning of the practice, we won't be able to see that characteristics of anicca. We have to keep on practicing. We have to keep on practicing. So we should have um, keep our uh, verbal and physical actions clear, pure and clean by observing morality, and then we try to observe every objects occurring in our mind and body, starting from starting from the rising and falling movement of the abdomen. When we are able to keep on observing those objects moment by moment, then our mind becomes pure, clean, and we gain the purity of mind, Citta Visuddhi. The mind becomes very pure. And when the mind becomes pure, what happens? That we come to know the very true natures of this mind and body. We are observing rising and falling movement. We come to experience, we come to see that tension, stiffness, vibration, pressure, relaxation, so on. We come to know those natures. That is the natures, the true natures that we should know when we note rising and falling. Yeah, not just the movement, rising movement, abdomen rises and falling abdomen falls. Not only that, we should know that very true nature, sabhava. And every physicality and mentality have their own natures. Yeah, the individual natures, unique characteristics. We have to see that characteristics. And when we keep on practicing, we come to see that characteristics. And when we keep on practicing, we come to see this physicality and mentality are not just one thing, they are two different things. Mentality, mind, noting mind is one thing, and the object, here the rising and falling movement, that object is another thing. The noting mind and the movement in the abdomen are not same, not one thing, not a one single thing. They are two different things. Yeah, we come to see this mind and matter separately, not just one thing. We see them very separately. We can now discriminate mind and matter. Noting mind is noting mind. The object of rising and falling movement is different, not the noting mind. They are two different things. And when we keep on practicing again, then we come to see that because there is rising and falling movement occurring in the abdomen, therefore there is a noting mind noting that object. Because the rising occurs, the noting mind also occurs. Because the falling occurs, the noting mind knowing that falling movement occurs. When the rising movement in the abdomen disappears, then there is no noting mind knowing that rising movement. When the falling movement of the abdomen disappears, there is no noting mind that knowing that falling movement. So we come to see the conditionality, cause and effect. Because there is the movement of rising, we come to know that, oh, therefore there is a noting mind knowing that rising movement. Yeah, we come to see the conditionality of this physicality and mentality. But we haven't seen the arising and passing away of the objects yet. Yeah? At the beginning, what we see that if our mindfulness is very good, mind is now pure, free of the hindrances, even for a short moment. At that time, we come to see the object, but not from very beginning. We see only the middle part. Yeah, after the rising movement arising, we see in the middle, but we still don't see the end. We only see the middle part. But when we keep on noting very carefully, very mindfully, later we come to see also the beginning of the rising movement, the beginning of the falling movement. But we don't see the end. We don't see the end. We now can see the beginning. Yeah? The beginning of the object and also the middle part, but not yet the end part. So that means we haven't seen the impermanent characteristic yet. But what we have to do, we again continue observing it continuously. Yeah, continuously we observing the objects, and later on sometimes we see that now this rising, it begins, and it rises, and it comes to stop. It comes to end. So means there is no rising. And sometimes we, before the falling movement starts, we see sometimes a pause. Yeah, and then the falling starts. The falling begins, and it just keep on falling, and later it ends. So now we comes to see the beginning of rising. While it is rising also, we come to see that, and then it comes to end. So occurrence of the rising and presence of the rising and disappearance of the rising. We come to see all three periods. When our noting mind becomes strong, we develop concentration, then we come to see the appearance, the presence, and the disappearance of the object. So before there is no rising, but now we see the appearance, the rising appears. And it stays for there, the presence of rising. And now it comes to end, the disappearance of rising. So all three periods, that is also called the Sankhata Lakkhana. Yeah? Therefore, in the practice, we should try our best to note that rising and falling movement from the very beginning till the end. But that doesn't mean that we have to look for the beginning point. We have to look for the end point. No, it's not like that. Because the beginning, the starting point, the ending point, that is not important. Yeah, we should not look for that. What we have to do is we should keep our mind very active and alert so that we will be able to follow that whole process of rising, whole process of falling movement. From the very beginning till the end, we will be able to follow that. We should not deliberately look for the beginning and look for the end. Because if we try that way, sometimes we think that, oh, I saw beginning, I saw end, but that could be just the not the real one, the mind creating. It could be like that. So we should not look for beginning and the end. But what we have to do is we should try our best. Yeah, we should try our best to to watch it from very beginning to the end. Therefore, we should stay in our domain of meditation. We should not leave our object, the meditation object. That means we just need to keep trying constantly. We should not stop. Yeah, we just need to keep on putting effort in the practice so that we can note the objects moment by moment. Because only then our mindfulness becomes stronger, and so that we will be able to follow it from very beginning till the end. So anicca here is the appearance. Before it is not there, now it appears. It is there for a while, that is the presence, and then it ends, that is the disappearance. In Pali, it is called upada, thiti, and banga. Upada is appearance, thiti is presence, and banga is disappearance. So we will be, when we are able to see this appearance, presence, and disappearance, it can be said that now we see the characteristics of anicca, characteristics of impermanence. Yes, all physical and mental phenomena are impermanent, but we haven't seen that characteristics of impermanence at the beginning of the practice. If we haven't seen that, then it cannot be said that this is impermanent. If we say, oh, it is impermanent, then that is our knowledge gained from text, reading the books, the knowledge gained from listening the talks. If we see now that appearance and disappearance, then it becomes our own personal knowledge. Then that knowledge is called anicca nupassana. So here three things, yeah, anicca, anicca lakhana, and anicca nupassana. Yeah, anicca is impermanent. That is all physical and mental phenomena. They are anicca. Anicca lakhana is the characteristic of impermanence. The appearance and disappearance nature of all physical and mental phenomena. That characteristic is anicca lakhana. And when we see that characteristic of anicca lakhana through our own practice, through our own personal knowledge, then the genuine vipassana knowledge begins. The genuine vipassana knowledge occurs because now we see that characteristic of impermanence through our personal knowledge. So that is the genuine vipassana knowledge. And this genuine vipassana knowledge, it starts from the knowledge of comprehension, sammasana jnana. So the genuine vipassana knowledge begins from the knowledge of comprehension, sammasana jnana. So seeing with one's own knowledge this characteristic of impermanence is anicca-nupassana jnana, which is the real vipassana knowledge. Therefore, the Buddha said, "Aniccang vedittabang." You should know anicca. Yeah, you should know anicca. Anicca here, the physicality and mentality, all physical and mental phenomena, or all five aggregates. You should know the five aggregates. And anicca lakhana vedittabha. You should know the characteristic of impermanence. All those 5 aggregates are appearing and disappearing, arising and passing away. You should know that. And here again, knowing means knowing through one's personal knowledge, not knowing through just by listening, just by reading. Yeah, one's own personal knowledge. Then that will be the real knowledge, the genuine knowledge. And Anitsanupasana Veditapa. So you should know that knowledge of Anicca, that is the real vipassana knowledge. So we are trying to put utmost effort in the practice. We are trying to note, we are trying to observe all the physical and mental phenomena in order to gain the insight knowledge, the genuine insight knowledge. Yeah. So if we haven't seen these anicca lakkhana, the characteristics of impermanence, arising and passing away nature, if we haven't seen that, that means the vipassana knowledge has not occurred yet. Though we say we are practicing vipassana, we are practicing vipassana. Yes, we are practicing vipassana inside meditation, but we haven't gained the vipassana knowledge yet. If we didn't see that impermanent nature. Yeah, vipassana. In that Pali word, we means in different ways, in various ways. Pasana means seeing or knowing or understanding. Yeah, knowing the physical and mental phenomena in various ways. So various ways means in the way of impermanent, in the way of unsatisfactoriness, in the way of not self. So if we see this mind and body as impermanent, unsatisfactory, and not self, then that is vipassana. So people would say, oh, I'm doing vipassana, I'm doing vipassana. Some people say, I take vipassana. I'm not practicing. Sometimes they use the word, I take vipassana. So I don't understand what they mean when they say, I take vipassana. They said they attain the 10-day course of vipassana practice. And sometimes they use, I take vipassana. But unless you see that 3 characteristics, then if you didn't see, it's not vipassana. So this vipassana is not a method, how we note. Here we note starting from rising, falling, and we note every arising objects. Not that type of method is vipassana. Vipassana is seeing the mental and physical phenomena as impermanent, unsatisfactory, and not self. Then that is the real vipassana. So we are here to see all the physical and mental phenomena in that way. And then we develop the vipassana insight knowledge stage by stage. And when this knowledge matured, we gain the path and fruition knowledge. And this talk will be continued tomorrow.